Dragon's Dogma 2 is an upcoming action RPG from the developer Capcom. It is a sequel to Dragon's Dogma 1 from 2012, and like its predecessor, it's an open world RPG where you play as the Arisen, and your main goal is to explore the world, fight monsters, and complete the main quests and side quests. The sequel has been generating quite a bit of buzz, and it's not surprising because it looks amazing. And as a huge fan of the original, it's awesome to see the series finally get the attention it deserves. Many will wonder if they can just start with this one, and by all indication from Capcom, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a perfect starting point, and Dragon's Dogma 2 seems to be the game that they wanted to make with Dragon's Dogma 1. The game takes place in a parallel world, so expect references for old-time fans, but a completely original story. Of course, I would never recommend someone just skipping over the original game if they're interested. It is a great game in its own right with some issues, but I hope gets ironed out in the sequel. But I'll get to that later in the video. When you start Dragon's Dogma 2, you start with 4 classes, so you pick from either a fighter, archer, thief, or a mage, but eventually it opens up to more advanced classes, kind of like the first game. The advanced classes for this game are the warrior and sorcerer, which are pretty self-explanatory, but you also get hybrid classes like the mystic spearhand, which is a vocation that specializes in melee and magic archer, which combines bow with magic spells, a trickster, which looks to be some sort of illusionist, and finally wayfarer, which looks to allow you to switch between 3 different weapons used by other classes on the fly. There are surely to be more classes which we still don't know about. The combat has been probably the most shown aspect of Dragon's Dogma 2, and it's for good reason. It's probably the best part of the series for me. Story-wise, like the first game, you play as the Arisen, a person chosen by the dragon Grigori. The Arisen is the character you create in the extensive character creator. You'll also be able to create a pawn, a constant companion that you will take on your journey and who will also be part of the story. The premise of Dragon's Dogma 2 seems to be about 2 nations, Vermin and Batal, and their opposing political views. Capcom has been holding their cards close to their chest when it comes to the story of Dragon's Dogma 2, but it seems like they've set the stage for a far more interesting tale than the first game. Dragon's Dogma will appeal to those who like fantasy games and the deliberate combat of games like Monster Hunter and Souls-like games. It rewards hitting enemies deliberately and not button mashing. It feels like an action RPG Dungeons & Dragons game. The world has this dark fantasy style that is medieval inspired with a hint of animes like Berserk. The game offers a bunch of different play styles because of all the classes playing very differently from each other. You can scale monsters and use the environment to beat your foes. It has this randomness aspect to it that keeps things exciting. A troll can knock you unexpectedly off of a cliff, or a griffin will fly to who God knows where once you grab onto it. While there's no true co-op in Dragon's Dogma, the pawn you create can be used by other players and help them on their journey. Your pawn will take the experience gained throughout your adventure and help other players with finding secrets, informing them of enemy weaknesses, among other things. There is nothing quite like Dragon's Dogma, and the sequel looks like it's going to take the formula we know and just expand upon it. But is that enough? Personally, I'm already sold on Dragon's Dogma 2. I know it will be a great time. I have a few problems with the original game that prevent it from being in the top 10 of all time, but I still have a lot of great memories with the game. The things I want to be addressed the most are the overworld and the story. Yeah, to get into what I mean by improvement to the overworld I'd like to see, the exploration of Dragon's Dogma at nighttime has always been great. No RPG I've ever played has instilled the fear of Dragon's Dogma's nighttime exploration, where you'd face unique enemies and you could barely see what was in front of you. It made for very memorable adventures, fighting your way back through undead monsters, making your way back to town after completing a long quest. Yeah, so most of my concerns from the exploration is outside of the nighttime exploration. What is Capcom doing to make exploration of Dragon's Dogma 2 more interesting and rewarding? The overworld of Dragon's Dogma 1 was pretty empty. It was a big open space, but there wasn't much to do, and exploring didn't give the rewards you would expect from a game with such a big open world. Will towns feel more lively in Dragon's Dogma 2? Will the game have an interesting take on optional side quests? Few games I've seen manage to do this well. Witcher 3 and Baldur's Gate 3 have shown us that it's possible to find meaningful content and quests outside of the main story. For Dragon's Dogma 2 to really blow me away, I would like for it to excel at things the original lacked upon. If it's any indication of the first game and the trailers, I just hope that it's something they touch upon. It would be great if we get more of the same for existing fans like me, but I would like for Dragon's Dogma 2 to be what Monster Hunter World did for Monster Hunter, where it became this big phenomenon worldwide. It is honestly a miracle that we got Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 1 was successful, but it was expensive and took a long time to make. Dragon's Dogma 2 needs to be a hit for the future of the series to be guaranteed, and I hope it achieves that. So yeah, these are my initial thoughts on the Dragon's Dogma 2 gameplay we've been shown so far from Capcom. Expect another video if we do get that rumored demo, and also a full review when the game comes out March 22nd. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if you like this, subscribe for more, and yeah, thanks guys.